So, how do you ace your AP exams? How do you do well on your AP exams, like whether you're taking AP Calculus BC or AP US History or AP Physics? In order to do well in the AP exams, you really want to get the Princeton Review or Kaplan book. You have to treat these books as if it's the Bible. Okay, the Princeton Review is extremely important, or Kaplan. These are both excellent resources when it comes to studying. I think when students study for the AP exams, many times they rely too much on their teachers or their school coursework to teach them everything that they need to know. You could really ignore all of that for a second and really just focus on, let's say, the Princeton Review. Okay, so if, for example, if I were to study for AP Physics, I would get the corresponding Princeton Review book. Or if I would study for AP Calculus BC, I would get the corresponding AP Calculus BC book for the Princeton Review and study off of that. The Princeton Review is really your ultimate source when it comes to studying. Next, I would study each chapter one by one. And so I would start by studying for chapter 1, and then I would take a neat set of notes on chapter 1. These neat set of notes essentially reflects the building blocks or fundamental building blocks of knowledge that I would need to study for these exams. So I would start by taking notes on chapter 1, and then I would do the practice problems at the end of chapter 1, and then I would take the notes for chapter 2, and then I would do the practice problems at the end of chapter 2 until I completely finished the book. Okay, so I would read the material and do the practice problems. And then by the time I'm through, let's just assume for AP Calculus BC, there's maybe 18 chapters in the AP Princeton Review book. I would then have notes on each of these chapters. And this would formulate the source of my building blocks I would want to memorize before the exam. So now I have these neat set of notes. Now I'm going to take lots of practice exams. I'm going to get these practice exams from the College Board. I'm going to get them from Princeton Review. I'm going to get them from Kaplan. And I really want to do as many practice exams as I can. This is how you study for the APs, and this is how you ace the AP exams. Generally speaking, for high school students, you want at least 8 AP exams scores by the conclusion of your junior year. So why do we base it off of the conclusion of the junior year and not the senior year? It's because by the time you apply for senior year, you won't have the scores in time. Right? When you apply to college, the applications are due November 1st for the early application or January 1st for the regular application, and you really want at least 8 AP exam scores, which you will get by the conclusion of your junior year, which you can then submit to the top colleges. Now, don't get me wrong, the senior year AP course load is still really important. So you do want to take at least generally anywhere between 4 to 5 APs by the end of your senior year. And that is really important, but you really want 8 or more AP exams by the conclusion of your junior year, because that signals the top 1% in the country. So a little bit of context here, 8 AP exams by the conclusion of junior year. In the past, you would get this award called the National AP Scholar. And that's for the top 1% of students in the country who have taken 8 or more AP exams. This award has since been discontinued. So now what the College Board does offer is the AP Scholar with Distinction, which means 5 AP exams scores that you get as a high school student. So this is how you study for the AP exams. Obviously, the number of APs also depends on your high school. So does your high school even allow you to take 8 AP exams by the conclusion of your junior year? Some high schools, they only allow you to take maybe 6 AP exams. For example, they don't allow freshmen to take AP exams or AP courses, which might make it difficult, but you can always self-study, right? You can self-study and then take these AP exams outside of school, and that's also another possibility. But if you go to a school that is not heavy on the AP curriculum, don't fret. What college admissions officers really want to see is how you've maximized the opportunity set and the resources that are given to you in and out of school. So if your school only allows you to take 6 AP exams through the conclusion of junior year, you want to make sure you take at least 6 AP courses or exams through the conclusion of junior year. And the AP exam scores is really what I'm looking for and what admissions officers are looking for when they evaluate applicants to the top schools. So how do you study for the AP exams? Definitely get the Princeton Review book. Take notes on each of the chapters in the Princeton Review book, do the practice problems at the end, and then take as many practice exams as you can. This is really the best method to study. You don't want to rely on what your teacher teaches you or your school coursework because that may not necessarily correspond exactly with the AP curriculum. But when you get the Princeton Review book or the Kaplan book and study exclusively based on that, more often than not, you will do well. And so we're really looking for scores of 4s or 5s on the AP exams. Generally speaking, in order to get a 5, you need roughly 70 to 75% of the questions correct. And to get a 4, you need roughly around maybe 60 or 65% of the questions correct. So hopefully you found this video helpful. We've got a lot of blogs where we discuss on how to study for the AP exams and the types of questions and content that they ask. So feel free to read our blogs, but these are our tips and advice on how to ace the AP exams.